Yeah, g'day legends, Gaz here, and welcome to episode 7, season 2 of Gaz's Garage. Yeah, doing it a little bit different today. We're going to have a chat while I'm driving, so yeah, sit back, enjoy, and yeah, I promise I won't take my eyes off the road, and we'll get to our destination in one piece. So sit back, enjoy, and remember, like, subscribe, and tell your mates. Alright guys, yeah, come with me on a little bit of a drive, eh? Yeah, just left Dinjoon now, going to, I just had to stop and help one of my customers out, had a bit of a problem with one of his auto grids, so I just met him on the side of the road and went through and just changed the fuse and over and thought I got him going, but it looks like it's a bit of an electrical problem in the truck, so I couldn't do much more. But hey, that's part of my job. Always good fun to go along. So now, yeah, back on the road, heading down across to Taroom, where I've got a few other customers, so I thought we'd have a bit of a chat while I'm driving, pass the time away. Coming to my world, you know, a bit of time between customers, so yeah. So on tonight's episode, we'll have a bit of a chat, you know, about yeah, what I do on the road and, you know, thoughts and things like that. It's been a bit of a rough week. I had to get our family pet put down on Tuesday night, so Wednesday night, yeah, Tuesday night, sorry, and yeah, it was a bit rough, a bit tough, still a bit hard, you know. It's not going to be the same when I get home on Friday afternoon and she's not going to be sitting there waiting for me at the door, so it'll be a bit hard to get used to. So yeah, just a bit of a discussion. I'll just clear my head a bit about that and waffle on. And also lost an aunt yesterday. She passed away with a long battle with cancer, with dementia and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, she's gone to a much better place now, which is good, and she's not suffering anymore. The last time I saw her was Christmas time, and she was a shell of herself. You know, just her body was there, but you know, her mind and what wasn't there anymore. She couldn't communicate or anything like that. So yeah, it's tough to say, but yeah, it's probably the best thing for her. Now she's gone on, she's with her brother and sister-in-law and a couple of nieces and all that up there. So yeah, there's been quite a bit family gathering going on the other side of the pearly gates at the moment. So yeah, hopefully I won't get up there soon, but that's, you know, everyone gets there one day. So how's your week been? Yeah, like I said, mine's been pretty good. Just out and about. I love getting out on the road and seeing customers and this is the best part of my job. Out seeing real customers, catching up with what they're doing and things like that, and how the economy and decisions that politicians make and all that sort of stuff affects their bottom line. And you know, it's pretty eerie that there's, you know, a lot of cotton guys that I deal with and cattle farmers and, you know, you name it, they got millions of dollars invested, and the government's playing around with making decisions that are affecting them without thinking as well. You know, like the price of diesel and all that at the moment, it's really putting the thing onto everything else now. So yeah, you look at it, you piece of meat now, and the butcher or Woolworths or wherever you buy your meat from is going to cost you a bit more again, because the price to cart it from farm to the feedlot, from the feedlot then onto you know, the meatworks for processing is all added on now. So you know, the farmer doesn't get paid any more per kilo for his cattle. It's just everything gets added on. So that kind of sucks, and the government's got to do a bit more, I think, to help our rural side of things out, our farmers. It's you know, one of our biggest exports is our live beef, or our beef and lamb and all that sort of stuff. Even goat, like you see goats are worth a fair bit now per kilo. They're getting good money, and they're a feral animal. You know, it's smelly things, horrible. I don't like eating it, but a lot of people do. So yeah, but there's a lot of good money made out of goat nowadays. So yeah, that's been my week so far. Yeah, like I said, this is usually, you'll be listening to this on Friday night, and yeah, getting ready for your weekend. Hopefully you're going to have a good weekend. Yeah, we got RC cars on Saturday night, and that'll be good. It's our outlaw nights, which are usually it's a condensed program. We do a qualifying session, one heat race, then straight into a final, or a B main or an A main, depends on how you go in your heat and your qualifying. It's a really good format. It's good fun. You get a lot of laps, particularly if you've got to do the B, and work your way to the A then, because you've got to finish first and second in the B main to transfer. So yeah, no, it'll be a good night. So if you're in the area, pop in down to Willowbank at Pit Pass, Portiscale, and yeah, it'll be good fun. So what else has been happening in the world? NASCAR on the weekend. I know everybody knows, but the Giz had another blinder. Everybody's saying that he's the greatest road course racer of all time. It's an era thing. Like, you can't really compare apples and apples because the cars are different, things like that. It's like saying that Mark Taylor was the best captain of Australia. And there's a lot of debates that you can have. It depends on the era. I believe he is the best of this current era of driver, full stop, as a driver. Like, the guy can get in anything, jumps in a rally car, drift car, whatever. He would be in my top 5 drivers of all this era of great drivers, and that's putting him in the same boat as Kyle Larson and Tony Stewart and those guys, because they drive everything as well, and drive both. Whatever they get into, they just natural at it. And it's one good thing about being a driver, and a good driver. You adapt, and you things that you learn to make it easy for yourself really helps. And you can take that from discipline to discipline, like throttle control and things like that. Like, watching Shane Van Gisbergen in the wet is just poetry. You're not going to get a better wet weather driver than him ever. I Peter Brock was good, Dick Johnson, those guys, Alan Moffat, but of the previous eras. But to watch him and to watch his footwork and his car control and how he nurses a tyre is just phenomenal. Like, he definitely does take the number 1 spot, I'd say, for greatest driver of this current era. So yeah, he's I don't know. Do you agree or disagree? Let me know. I'm happy to hear your thoughts. So yeah, he had an absolute awesome weekend, and then we had the TO2 and all that sort of stuff the week before at Queensland Raceway. So, and the guys the trucks would be ready to leave for Tassie, I believe, probably this week. They'll be leaving for the supercars. They're the week after next. This weekend they got the Toyota 86s and at Tailem Bend, and so that's some good young talent being on show there for the round of their series, the scholarship series, which is a good program to be a part of, really. So if we're an up and coming driver, good pathway program. But yeah, kind of, you run out of options after 86s and that in Australia at the moment. But that'll change. People are doing different routes now to get to where they're going. Some people are going overseas for the GT4 program, and it's a good thing to do. Young Alex Gardner's going across. He races in Europe in the GT4, and he also races here now with GT4 as well. So he's getting his laps and his miles under his belt doing that way. So that'll be good to see this weekend. Also, round 2 of the Australian Kart Championships on at Ipswich this weekend at Ipswich Kart Club. Upward of 300 entries, and it's usually the biggest event on the calendar for AKC. And yeah, I'd say that'll be getting there now. A lot of the Queensland teams, anyway, their tents are there permanently anyway. Like Harry Hoey with H Sport. Tyler Granbury's tent's there all the time now, and they're just taking it to the next level. The trucks, a lot of drive and drive deals now with go-karting, and it's becoming more and more of a thing. And you share the resources in the tent and everything, which is good. All your data, they usually have a data coach there, and your mechanic and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, it's a good learning program, and it's good to see. It's definitely priced it out of taken away from a club racer to run national rounds now, but that's not what it's about. National rounds are the stepping stone to get you ready to move on to where you want to go in motorsport after that. So it's a good program and it's good to see. I'll pop in probably on Saturday on my way down to the kart track to have a bit of a look and catch up with some old friends who are up here racing, who I only ever see when they come up here now for AKC. So yeah, it'll be good to catch up and see what they're all up to, and have a bit of a yarn of them, and hopefully I'll, get to chat about on the next couple of episodes of Gaz's Garage. I was talking to I had a message from one of my followers the other week, and it was about sponsorship for junior dragsters and things like that. And so I just thought I'd touch on my experience with finding sponsors and how to keep them and what you got to do and what to offer. You got to remember, a lot of us are in motorsport now, in divisions of motorsport, and starting out, that you don't have a lot to offer a sponsor, as in TV airtime and things like that. So you got to think outside the box with what you can offer and what you chase. My biggest thing is, and the thing that I've found out that I really chase hard for, is product or services sponsorship. I get looked after by Black Knight RC. I'm a paying customer, but I get a discount on my parts, and I get technical support as well. It'd be just like a customer program through Supercars, and that if you're a T8 888 customer, I get setup information, and I get the same packages and that I can purchase, and the support I get from them is just, it's like being part of a supercar program or whatever. I get all the shop data and things like that I need, that if because he likes to see the cars, and I get he does all my wraps and builds the bodies and all that for the cars, and we develop a lot of stuff. So I work pretty closely with those guys down there, and we chat a lot. And there's a few other drivers that are part of that program as well, and it's the sort of thing where it's not all secret squirrel business anymore like it used to be back in the day, where you cover everything up on your cars. There's still a fair bit of information that I won't give out freely to people, because I've worked hard to develop that, find out that information. Even when I was running carts and things like that, I'll give them a baseline that I was working on, but I would never give them the finer detail on a setup sheet or anything like that. You need that little bit of an edge every now and then, but you don't want people struggling as well and getting in your way and mishandling car and things like that. So that's the big thing with sharing the information. So if you can get that sort of sponsorship out of somebody as well, it's always handy. You can't knock that back. A fuel sponsorship, if you get your local workshop or whatever to sponsor you 20 litres of fuel or whatever, I'm hopefully got a deal again with Castrol this year for 2-stroke oil and bits and pieces. I just got to follow up on that, so I'll put the Castrol on my podcast stuff and things like that as a thank you, as part of it. Like, you notice I advertise Black Knight on all my RC stuff to do with the podcast, things like that, and then I get do a bit of a shout out now to the guys who support me as well with the podcast, like I always do. Bucked Off Apparel and Alpha Hunting Supplies out of Dolby. I always plug them on all my social media stuff, and that's the biggest thing you can do for your sponsors as well, is build up your your social media, your following, or your community, as it's the buzzword, your online community, and just keep plugging your customers, your sponsors every time you get a chance. I do 2 or 3 posts a week just with the sponsor shout out and things like that, and you look through your meta and things like that, your meta app, and it tells you how many hits you're getting, and like I'm averaging 400 to 500 hits on it. My Capital Week average now is 500 hits, so it's working. It's getting it out there. So like you can see, I'm rocking the Kelly haulage, or Kelly transport from Toowoomba Cap this week. I can do it on a Sunday night. So if you're chasing sponsors and things like that, you can do your product of the week with those guys. things like that you can do, and it's easy to do. You don't have to spend $1 million on social media. You don't need to buy expensive gear. You know, your phone nowadays is your best camera you'll ever get, really. And yeah, as you see, I'm just chatting away now while I'm driving, and I've plugged 3 of my sponsors. I've plugged my cap of the week, and so that's what you do. You like do a come with me thing for them, and like I'll be doing that as well again this week. Come with me to the track, you know, loading the car up and things like that, the cars, and setting up the pit setup and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, it's different things, and social media now is the new, you know, YouTube's the big thing of the future coming up, and yeah, it's going to be the way to be if you're getting in now. Like you look at Cletus McFarlane and all that, and he's YouTube famous, and he makes a healthy living out of YouTube with advertising and things like that. So that's where I hope to get Gaz's Garage to in the next few years. That, you know, not that it's going to be my sole income, but if I can generate a little bit of income to, you know, keep my hobbies going and things like that, and to keep the adventures going, because I've got quite a bit in, you know, down on my bucket list to do, and my list of things that I want to get done over before, you know, I fully retire. You know, I'm looking at semi-retirement at 60, just jumping in a truck or doing cotton or whatever. So yeah, it's just, you got to get into it at an entry level with your social media, and that's where we're at now with Gaz's Garage, and we're just building the brand and the community, and that's what you got to do. Your sponsors, build your community. Yeah, don't go out asking for big bucks. You know, the smallest thing, every little thing helps. Like if you running like with our RC cars and that, I get a discount from Black Knight. I get my oil, and that hopefully provided to me by Castrol, my 2-stroke oil again, and that'll run me on the dirt go-kart and things like that. I got a few other guys that help me out with bits and pieces, like you get somebody to cover your membership for the year as sponsorship, you know, like $150 or whatever. You know, you go and you get 10 or 12 people together to put in, you know, so much per head, and that covers you for the year to go racing. You know, you don't try to get the $1 million or the $1,000. Just, you're better off with 10 $100 sponsors than you are with no $1,000 sponsors. So always think of it that way. Just every little bit helps. You know, if you're racing speedway, if you tear off sponsor or a fuel sponsor or something like that, or somebody sponsors you a right rear for the night, that's just going to help. That, you know, that takes out a big thing out of your budget. You know, someone gives you a fuel card for your truck to get to and from the race meetings. That all helps, you know, because look at the price of diesel. Like I just filled up at $2.70 again a litre, and you look at if you're a Brisbane base and you've got to go to Toowoomba, the toll road and everything like that, that's $15 each way. I think off the top of my head in a truck. You know, if you get somebody to cover your transport to and from or tip in, it all helps. You just got to think outside the square, and yeah, just try to do things differently. You don't want to be, you know, you haven't got an F1 program that you got to offer with television coverage and things like that, and a lot of our entry-level sports that we do, like your junior dragsters, your Hyundai Excel racing, you know, you don't get much TV exposure, and you just got to be smart and do your social media. But a lot of the problem is that some race meetings you can't use in-car footage or anything like that, because it's all the rights have been sold for those races, so it makes it hard to do your stuff from the track, your vlogs and things like that. So you got to just do your wrap-ups and that after the race meeting, and you always find out what you can and can't do on a series, because it's not worth getting fined or something because you're trying to promote yourself and then you find out that you're not allowed to do that because they've sold the rights to the racing and all that sort of stuff. It's like at Archfield Speedway before it closed down, you couldn't live stream there because Clay for you were paying to be there and things like that. So you got to be careful with that. But if you find out that that's the case, just play by their rules. You know, you sign when you check into a race meeting, you sign that you accept their rules and regulations and all that sort of stuff, and the social media, all that goes with it. So that's the times we're moving in. You know, like it's just, it makes it hard, but you just got to work around it and just offer better things to do. You know, get on your podcasts and things like that. If somebody approaches you to have a chat about your racing and their program, you know, jump at it. Do that sort of stuff. You know? I got to do more with Gaz's Garage. My biggest problem is I procrastinate too much, and I do too much of this thinking while I'm driving. Like I'll come up with an idea before I left. You know, say before I left Ingene, I had an idea in my head about something, and I've already changed that idea or rethought it or cancelled it or gone come up with something totally different by the time I've turned off the Taroom Roma Road and onto the, you know, Roma Taroom Road, you know, whatever, like it. And my biggest thing is, and I got a shiny object thing, like I'll get bored with something very quick, or lose interest with something very quick and jump on to the next thing. So that's part of the stuff I'm dealing with my mental health and things like that as well. Like it is a bit ADHD and a bit OCD. Like how many of you guys make your bed at your hotel before you leave? You know, I do. You know, that's just one of my quirks. So I just, you know, I always got to do it. I can't leave if the bed's not made. And the housemaids and all that, I got quizzed a while ago, do you actually sleep in your bed? And I said, yeah, I just make the bed before I leave. You know, it's just the way I am. It's the way, it's just something I do. But yeah, see, that's what I mean. I've just gone off on a tangent against shiny objects. So I do that a lot, and it makes it hard. And I've got to really focus. If I'm talking, like if I'm doing a training presentation or something like that for work, I've got to really try hard to stay on track. Because like I've just waffled on about making my bed when we were talking sponsorship, and now I've lost gone on a different train of thought, and I do that a lot, and it's really bad. So I got to stay focused. That's my biggest thing. Like I'm focused on driving at the moment, and I'm still talking to you guys. So it's just the way it is. So getting back to sponsorship and that, and looking for what you got to offer, you know. Your stickers and things like that, always have. It's a subtle process, you know, the subtle spotting. Like you look at Alumlube now, the company I work for, we sponsor part of the sponsorship for the AA series that Marcus Ambrose and that runs. We supplied them a set of column lifts to use for the year to get the vehicles up in the pit area, and that's but every time they do a driver interview in front of the media wall, it's got the little Alumlube sticker on there. So, you know, for what we're loaning them a set of column lifts, and we'll get them back at the end of the year, and we'll just sell them off as demonstrative stock or whatever. And we've got all the advertising on TV and all that for that sort of thing. So you got to be able to offer your sponsors something like that their logo is seen. Like even if you're doing stuff where you get in-car footage and that, you have the display board with all of your sponsors, so when the in-car camera signs on it, it shows all the sponsors. Like I always wear a sponsor's cap when I'm doing my podcast or when I'm doing Cap of the Week. I've always got that cap on, and it's airplay for that customer who I'm promoting. They don't ask me, like Mitch didn't ask me to wear his run Cap of the Week and that. I just do it. You know, like, because he's a good customer of mine through work, and I see the benefits of promoting their product, and they'll promote me through their sharing it. Like last week's Cap of the Week was Darling Down Haulage, and they shared my post, my Cap of the Week post through their social media, and I got more followers out of it. So the same with ABH when I did their Cap earlier on in the year. They shared it through their social medias, and I got more followers. And that's how you build it up, and that's what you got to look at doing for sponsorship too, to offer your sponsors something like that you're wearing their stuff whenever you can. like tyre sponsors and that in the series. Like you look at the TA2 series, they all run Hoosier caps and everything on the podium, Dunlop caps and supercars. You know, it's seeing the product out there, it's seeing the name, and it's, you know, it just sticks with you, and people buy that stuff. Like look at all the caps that CTC sell and things like that, and Truckalipco, and with all their little weird, they've built a solid brand. Like Knuckles and that have got a solid brand and a solid backing. He could put whatever he wanted on a cap and sell it because it's CTC, you know, and that's what you've got to look at doing if they're offering your sponsors. You can put anything on and you should be able to market that product because it's you. You know, like it's your part, it's your brand that you're pushing. So yeah, things like that. Get t-shirts made. You don't have to spend $1 million getting everything, the greatest stuff done. You can get a t-shirt printed now for like $35, and then print some extra ones and start. You know, you give them to your sponsors. Like I do at the end of the year. I'll give them a copy of it. Like if they've sponsored with the racing and they've sponsored the series, I try to get a copy of the trophy made for them to put in their thing as well as a thank you. So it's a great thing. You've got to, you know, do little things like that. Regular updates for them as well. Nothing works better than on a Monday after a race meeting or Monday night, or just to shoot a video message out and a shout out, or send an email to them saying, hey, thanks for, you know, your support this weekend. We did this, this and this. Yeah, the car was good, it looked good. Send a photo, check out and send them links to your social media, your posts and that you do. Try to do them regular, try to be regular with your update stuff as well. And, you know, 1 or 2 posts a week, just short stuff. You know, like it's race week, you know, pictures of the car, and do a, you know, 60-second or a minute and a half or 2-minute thing on TikTok or Instagram, and just share it, and just, you know, kangaroo, and his mate just got run over. Yeah, so just all that little stuff helps. Learn as much as you can about the person that's helping you out too, their product and things like that, and offer to do things like if they got trade nights coming up, offer to have your car there or things like that. Just the little things, or put it in their shop on display. You name it, like little things, like a truck show coming up next year. I'm building I've got already a 1/14 scale truck, and I'm going to build a set of trailers, and I'll put, you know, bucked off on there and things like that. So they'll get little ads everywhere, and little Black Knight and all that, and my 2.5 ag, and so just subtle things. I offer them, you know, with, if you work customer or your sponsor does a thing at Farm Fest or whatever, offer to have your car there on display or something like that. You know, just little things help, and they get a buzz out of it because they can show it off proudly. And don't, you know, like I keep saying, and don't ask for $1 million. Just ask for something that's easily achievable. Years ago, I was sponsored by a windscreen shop at Sumner Park, and they gave me 2 windscreens a month, but it wasn't for the car. The profit, the sale of those 2 windscreens went to me in the money, so I got 2 windscreens a month. And so yeah, they'd do 2 windscreen repairs and replacements that month, and I'd get the money for those as sponsorship, and that went towards, you know, fuel to get to and from, or even went towards buying the methanol for the car at some stage. So you got to just think differently and do contra deals. Like if you're a workshop and you want to, and you say you Castrol and your kids are racing go-karts, just hit your rep up for a bit of product through the shop. Even if he gives you a discount to buy it, you still run it, it's still advertise it, you know, it's still a help. You can put cash on, and then next year you can just say, hey, you know, you gave me a good buy on that 2-stroke or whatever. Can we maybe look at doing something else and building on it? So don't ask big straight away. Start small and work your way up. The smallest, you know, the biggest dollar sponsorship down the track start off from the smallest supplier you got on the car, and treat them all equal too. Don't just because you got a major sponsor, don't forget about the little guys on the car as well. You know, or on the bike or the truck or whatever. You know, I treat all my sponsors like I treat my customers. They're all the same. Like Brown and Hurley they're my biggest account I look after in my area, and I treat like I just stopped to help Henry Livestock out. He runs 5 or 6 trucks. I treat him exactly the same as I treat the Brown and Hurley. I'll do the same thing for those guys. Like if they wanted me to meet them on the side of the road, I lost an hour and a bit out of my day waiting and stuff like that, but it still helped them. And you know, it's the same with, and they are Brown and Hurley customers as well, so it's a knock-on effect. And you know, Brown and Hurley spruik our product, and then and I go and back it up, you know, and that's what you got to do, and that's the difference that you got to be able to offer. Same within sponsorship, you got to offer everybody the same thing, you know, do the same for your small sponsors. Like if you're racing Speedway, old mate sponsors you a box of tear-offs every time you need them, and he gets a sticker on the visor and things like that. You know, you still got to give him the same sort of deal. We used to do the season launch, and then the thank you at the end of the season was the big thing that we used to do. Like you do the season launch and you'd invite all the people there that were involved in the car, and then you do the end of season function as well. And if you got the opportunity to do drive days and things like that, yeah, bring your sponsors along. You know, I try to encourage the guys who help me out with the RC cars and that to come along and have a play on a practice night. And it goes down a treat. They love it, and it works out well in the long run too, because they see you how much fun, and they might get involved themselves then too. But then you might lose a sponsor because they put it in their own deal. But hey, you got another member in the club, you're sharing, doing something that you like, somebody that you like, so it's all good and well. So it works out in the long run, and yeah, it's good to. It goes a long way. The little things go a long way in everything that you do. So I hope that answered the question. It sums up a bit on sponsorship, on thinking outside the square. If you've got any questions, you know, shoot us a message, let me know, and yeah, we can chat more about it. Happy to help out too. Like I've written quite a few sponsorship proposals in my time, and know how to do it. Same with government grants and that for clubs and things like that. If you want me to, you know, just have a read through, give us a yell. I won't charge you for it or anything like that. Just want to help you, you know, get the buzz out of your sport and get out of your hobby like I do. And part of it, you run it like a small business, and you know, it'll be like a small business, you know, and you treat them like family. Like that's the way it is. That's the way it's got to be. You look at it, even in the top end of motorsport with sponsorship, you know, Shell, even Repco, use them as an example now. They sponsor the Supercar Series as well as they sponsor DJR, and they had their last trade night down at DJR shed, and so Repco had a trade night there with their suppliers and their customers, and it was a bonus because you got to go to DJR and have a look at the workshop and all that sort of stuff. Unfortunately, all the cars weren't there. They were on their way back. They were on the water in the shipping container, but there was still a couple of cars there, and you're still going to DJR. Like that place, the facility on it is phenomenal. They got down there, and most supercar teams are the same. Like even your home garage, you know, you set up there. You're proud of what you got, even if it's a mess. Like I can't work in a mess. My OCD won't allow it. Some of my customers get a bit of a chuckle out of it because I've offered a few guys to come and tidy up their shed for them when I've been on holidays and things like that, and I get, you know, it makes me feel pretty good in my head, and that gives me a good headspace and helps them out too, tidies up their shed. So you know, that's probably one thing I'm going to do towards as I semi-retire, and is just offer myself out to tidy sheds up and things like that, to set up a workshop, things like, you know, because I've been doing it a long time now in the workshop world, selling workshop equipment, and even through my motor racing and that over the years, I've been in a lot of big high-end workshops, and a lot of, you know, you don't need to spend $1 million, but just have it you know, some nice pictures up on the wall and tidy bench spacing and clean benches. And even a coat of paint on the floor goes a long way. It just makes the place pop that so much more. Yeah, keep your floors clean and things like that. That's all part of it. You know, be proud of what you got. You don't have to have the biggest thing. I know guys who run their hobbies and that out of 3 metre by 3 metre garden sheds, but their sheds are set up. They're really well set up, and I've seen it really cool. I'll dig out a photo and I'll put it on the Gaz's Garage page of a guy who had a woodworking workshop in a 3 metre by 3 metre shed off the side of his house, and it was awesome. Like the utilisation of space and things like that. Part of the project, part of the thing was building the benches and all that, so they had multi-use. Like the bench, the sander and the thickener would fold down, slide down underneath the bench, and you'd have bench space above it. And when you wanted to use that, you just pulled it up and it sat on the bench. And if you needed bench space, if you wanted full clear, everything dropped down under bench level inside the bench. And yeah, it was awesome. We're really well set up. He put a lot of thought into his benches and his design and building them, and that was part of his projects, was building the benches for it. So yeah, those sort of things go a long way, and you know, that's what I want to showcase more in Gaz's Garage. It is motor racing, it's speedway, it's RC cars, it's me talking crap for 35-40 minutes a night of a week, and you listening. Well, if you don't listen, you don't listen, it doesn't matter. But it's also showcasing people's garages and their projects and what they're proud of, their hobbies. You know, your barbecue area is a big thing. I love to barbecue, you know, and so you tie it all in to Gaz's Garage or your garage or your, you know, whatever you're passionate about, you can turn into make it a lifestyle thing and make it a hobby. You know, everyone needs it. You need that thing zoning out process. Like, I was just talking to one of my customers. I do a bit of Lego, not as much as I'd like to, but I got a few little things. I got one, usually a project on the go, and it takes me a while to do it. It's just sitting on the dining room table at home, and I'll sit there and, you know, might be, I'll probably Friday night when I get home from this trip, after I upload the podcast and all that sort of stuff, I might just sit down because I'll have no Dot, or Penny won't be there to chat to, or, you know, to hang out with, or lay there watching TV with, because it was great. Just sit on the couch beside you and watch TV, and you know, we'd have a chat. She'd listen. So yeah, I'm going to miss that when I get home. Not, you know, I won't have anyone to decompress to like Penny used to live. She was the unbelievable psychologist. She'd just give me a look and it'd make me feel, you know, things weren't that bad. So yeah. So I'll probably just sit out the Lego there and do a couple of things and have a drink or whatever, a beer or a Coke or whatever, and just relax and de-stress and de-tune. That's the biggest thing in life. Like, everyone's under the pump for everything now. So yeah, you just got to enjoy. Like, this is decompressing for me, just chatting away while I'm driving. It helps my mental health. It helps when I sit there at home in the garage just chatting to you guys. I know I've only got, you know, 20 or 30 listeners, but hey, if I can build that up, you know, the aim is to have 150 regular listeners by the end of the year, and then 500 by this time next year. It'd be nice. That's my aim. If it doesn't happen, if it happens, it happens. If it don't, it don't. That's life. But you got to have something. You got to have a goal. There's got to be a target at the end of the tunnel type thing that you want to achieve. So you set yourself little weekly goals. You set yourself daily goals. You know, you're thankful for things. I mentioned last week's episode that you got to be thankful for at least one thing a day. I do that with gratitude. I do my gratitude. I wake up in the morning and think of something I'm thankful for, you know, for that day. You know, whether it be as I'm putting on my R.M. Williams boots to start the day. I'm thankful for my RMs. Not everyone can afford a pair of RMs. You know, I'm thankful for my jeans. Like I wear. You know, I'm in the point now where, you know, a few years back when Georgia was younger, all my money went into keeping her fed and clothed and all that sort of stuff. So, you know, I'd work my ass off so she didn't miss out on anything. And now she's the same. She says she's grateful for everything daily as well. Like, you know, you wake up in the morning and you've woken up, particularly, you know, as we're getting older, the body's getting worse, you know, you're starting to find illnesses and you're starting to discover things, you know, you could be fighting cancer like a few of my friends are at the moment, you know, and they wake up every morning and they're grateful for waking up, you know, and then you can look at it the other way as well, like, you could be grateful for your health, or you're grateful that they've found it, that they've got a cure, or they're helping you exist, you know, things that there aren't cures for everything, but they just help you exist longer. And that's the big thing. You don't want to miss out on stuff. Like, you know, as you get older, your kids are older, you know, and the next thing for me is, you know, George will get married in the next couple of years, then grandkids will come along and things like that. So, you know, I've got a lot to look forward to and a lot to be grateful for. A few years ago, I wouldn't have seen it that way. Like, when I hit all rock bottom, I didn't think I had anything to be grateful for. I didn't think I had anything to offer. I still struggle with what to offer for people, but hey, I'm me, and I'm getting better at all that sort of stuff. So it is becoming easier now. I'm starting to get a bit more social. I'm starting to get out there a bit more. Like, it's little steps. I still don't like big crowds, but I work my way into it. But yeah, I'll get there again. And like, I'm humming and hawing about going to the go-kart track on Saturday on my way through to go to RC Cars because it's next door. I probably will stop in and say good day to a few people that I know. And that, just to say hi and see how things are going. And I'm not obliged to be there. Like, it's not like I'm working on a cart or I'm part of the team where I've got to force myself to be there. I can just pop in when things get too much. I can just pop back out again. You know, the old smoke screen like I do at functions and that. And when I've had enough, I just see ya. And don't make try not to draw attention to yourself when you leave. You just sneak out, say goodbye to the relevant people, and sneak out. And that's it. So yeah, I hope all my, you know, my little things help you guys. Whatever if you're going through the same, you know, you listen to this and you think, yeah, I feel that. And this is what, yeah, I'll give that a go. Same with if you got something that you think that would help me, shoot me a message. You know, come on and we'll have a chat. Now we can do it via video. You don't even have to come to my garage. But it would be nice to come. I still really want to get out to people's garages. So if you want me to come to your garage, shoot me a message and let's make it happen. I've got the gear now to do it. You know, I got the mics, all that sort of stuff, so we can record a good little bit of content. You know, 30-40 minute show from your garage. And I won't tell people where you live, so you won't draw attention to for security reasons or whatever. And yeah, we can walk around because they're wireless mics and have a bit of a chat about your projects or your racing or whatever you do. So yeah, I'm happy to travel. I do a lot for my work as well, so I know I'm going to do an episode from out at Alpha Hunting Supplies in the next couple of months. I'll use that as my last call on when I finish up in Dalby that afternoon. I'll go there and I'll sit down with Jace and have a bit of a chat about stuff, and he can show me some of his cool stuff. I'm not allowed to show bang tools and things like that on social media, so we won't really show them, but we'll just have a bit of a discussion about what he does and things like that. So that's part of offering your support or something. So it'll be a 45-minute ad for Alpha Hunting Supplies or Bucked Off Apparels or whatever like that. So yeah. So I've waffled on for about 45 minutes now. I'm still 97 kilometres out of Taroom, and got a bit of fun roads ahead. This is some sketchy bit of bitumen on this trip, so yeah, I better get back to doing what I do and keep driving. Yeah, hope you enjoyed tonight's episode of Gaz's Garage, and remember, like, subscribe and share. I'll have some t-shirts available soon. They'll be online. Also my new sticker set, so shoot me a message if you're interested in some merch. I've got some caps coming too, and send it become a member of the Garage Crew. It'll be a $50 subscription per year, and that'll give you a t-shirt and yeah, just some discount codes and that for different things. And as we go, so I'm going to build that up and do a couple of nights towards when Speedway season kicks off again for 26, 27. You know, we'll meet at Turn 2 at Toowoomba or something like that, and yeah, have a bit of a, you know, hang out at the racetrack that night, and then go down to the pits at the end of the night's racing, and I can, you know, introduce you to a couple of guys. You can have a look inside their trucks and things like that. And, you know, just say g'day if you're not a real Speedway person, and you know, we'll do the same with the Queensland Raceway, and we'll do the same for RC cars as well. You're more than welcome to come along and have a play anytime you want. So yeah, that's all from me. Remember, my shed door's always open, and check on your mates. And yeah, it's really okay not to be okay. Talk soon.